Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Near the end of Srimad Bhagavatam, Rishi Uddhava asks Sri Krishna, what is the difference between jnana and vijnana? In English, what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? And Sri Krishna responds by sharing, jnana is feeling unity in diversity, the oneness in all, and vijnana is diversity in unity, allness in one. I'm sharing this with us because in Meaningful Mornings, we aspire not to be knowledgeable, but rather to be wise. That the most authoritative experience is that of oneness. We are in a section where Prince Arjuna is expressing a prayer to Sri Krishna. Earlier, his prayer was one of being purposeful. He wanted to see Sri Krishna. Now his prayer has evolved to being grateful. He's not asking, he's just being. This begins in verse 36. The key thought there is sthane. All is as all is. How we can relate to this, sthane, this understanding, comes from working smart. If you invest in yourself, if you engage in swadhyaya, then you'll come to understand and appreciate sthane. You've worked smart, now all you have to do is work hard. It's like being on autopilot. You don't have to think about, what is my purpose? Who am I to serve? All of that is locked in through your understanding and appreciation that all is as all is. In verse 37, a key thought is, if you ever have to give away an article, if you ever have to leave a circumstance, if a relationship with a being changes, in this experience, you don't feel any lesser. Why? Because that A, B, and C is Sri Krishna. If that's Sri Krishna, whether that's there or not, Sri Krishna is still there, still with you. So you become more all right with things coming and things going. In verse 38, the key thought is to shift what we're investing in from articles to awareness. And a way we can practice this is to give less of an importance to nama, then rupa, instead focusing on guna. Names are very specific to articles. Even forms are. But once you start to tune into qualities, so many of the articles that we interact with, they have the same qualities. As an example, most of our diet is just processed sugar, processed grains, correct? If you think of cars, there's so many different names and forms, but finally they move you from point A to point B. It is that tuning into the guna that helps us to feel awareness. This is more universal. We continue, verse 39. Vayur yamognir varuna shashankaha Prajapatistvam prapitamahascha. Namo namaste stu sahasra kritvaha. Punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. In English, the translation. You are Vayu, Yama, Agni, Varuna, the moon, Prajapati, and the great-grandfather. Salutations, salutations unto you 1,000 times, and again, salutations unto you. I'm reminding everyone that we're in a section of prayer. Prince Arjuna expressing his gratitude. What Pujaswami Chinmayananda shares about this section. Mellifluous language, as is done in this stanzas, poetic genius married to philosophy and living together at the house of ecstasy is Gita. So highly poetic, highly philosophical. Here's what we can reflect on from this verse. Brahman means the biggest, the big one. And the implication of this is there is no other. There's no many bigs. There's no even more smalls. Brahman means infinity. Yet, we don't feel this. We understand this, we sort of see it, but we don't feel this. If there is creation, then there is Bhagwan, the creator. And that's what's really being shared in this stanza, in this verse. Even though there's infinity, we don't feel that. We feel there's Vayu, Yama, Agni, etc. In which case, this creation needs a creator. That's Bhagwan. Are you with me? So here's infinity. Here's Vivek experiencing multiplicity. That means in between, there has to be a creator. Now, going with this more, if there's Bhagwan, then we have to be bhaktas. We have to be devoted to the creator. We have to be dedicated to creation. And if one is not following this connection of Brahman, Bhagwan, Bhakta, when one forgets this, that's when one becomes baddha. Baddha means bound or limited. Baddha means bada. You become bada. Okay. So Prince Arjuna has this understanding of he is not feeling infinity. He is feeling divinity, and he is to be dedicated to this divinity. Verse 40. Namah purastad ata prishtataste namostute sarvata eva sarva ananta viyam mita vikramastvam sarvam samapnoshi tatosi sarvaha. The translation. Salutations to you before and behind. Salutations to you on every side. O all, you, infinite in power and infinite in prowess, you pervade all. Wherefore, you are the all. What is the common word here? In the previous verse, maybe namaha. In this verse, sarva. Sarva means all. That is a name of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna's name is all, his form is all, his qualities are all, he is all. An implication for us, Prince Arjuna is prostrating with his hands, with his legs, with his heart. The way to be closer to Sri Krishna is through knowledge. It is not seeing this difference between names and forms, but rather tuning into Sri Krishna's qualities, his Dhamma. So it's knowledge that makes one closer to Sri Krishna. And what is Sri Krishna doing? He's not doing. He is simply being. The more knowledge you have, the less you need to do. The less you feel like you're the doer. One lives less of a busy life. One is much more in tune with being, non-doership, living in an engaged way. Does that make sense? Prince Arjuna feels close to Sri Krishna, and this is being facilitated by knowledge. Yesterday, both of our kids had play dates. So one of Shuka's friends came to our home and I stayed there with them, and Vyasa went to another home and Sheila was with him. And the parent of Shuka's friend, we were sitting down and I was asking about her and I said, "Do you live a busy life?" And she says, "I don't have time to breathe." And I said, "Awesome. The next 30 minutes, I just want you to breathe right now. I'll go upstairs and do the dishes and pack my bag. You just breathe. That's it. For 30 minutes, you take this time for yourself." Now, you're all listening to this story carefully, but does this apply to you? If you don't have time to breathe, how will you have time to feel the divine? One has to do in such a way where you're not busy, where you do remember what Prince Arjuna is now remembering. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was to give away what you think about too much. If it's legal, I said it yesterday, I'm saying it again today. How many of you practice this? Okay. For those who did, my appreciation and the reflection with this adventure or with this application is for you to give away without feeling like you miss what you've given away. Shri Krishna's behind you. I use that word many times, and he'll never leave behind you. So even if you give away an article, a being, a circumstance, one should never feel lesser. And if you do, you've forgotten that Shri Krishna's name is all. He is the presence, he is the absence. Okay? And your application for this morning, I didn't realize that we started Vishnu Sahasranama and it's really the same as Vibhuti Yoga. I'm sorry, the Vishwarupa Yoga. Vishnu Sahasranama and chapter 11 are so similar to each other. It just happened like that. And so I want you to look at Sri Krishna's Vishwarupa. There's lots of images online. I want you to look at this carefully. The faces, what's around Sri Krishna. Because that's what you're doing. You're doing this with Vishnu Sahasranama, you're doing this with Vishwarupa Yoga. So look at this carefully. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.